Escaping Satan's Web. Oh, what was that guy's name? I should have written it down. This documentary is so much about that young man who went to prison. But it turns out the young man just had certain sexual and drug tastes and presumed a lot. Some consequences can't be stopped, but you can always choose your spiritual side, you know, if you haven't died yet, that is. People can become overburdened and snap. One of the things that happens in some of these documentaries, as they're called, is that they say, oh, what explanation could there possibly been for this person to all of a sudden, it's like, are you kidding me? He had a job and school and some sports or other extracurricular activity, and his parents in his church demanded stuff from him, whether or not they understood. I mean, all that stuff piling up, interest in other cultures, thinking games, and fiction are not the same as opening up to demonolatry. LARPers do give people forums to be authentic about. Because people say, oh, the table set, the satanic, the Church of Satan, all that stuff. Well, they people who authentically believe can repeat some of the stuff by the Satanic Temple and the Church of Satan to actually worship demons. They're not just, treating it as a symbol that upsets people. And some of the musicians and stuff too. Like some of these people are Christian and they're like, oh, well, it's the artistic form and all that. Trying to oppress people of different faiths can produce the deepening of the extremist elements of opposition to those denying religious freedom. And that is one of the things that happened in the main case with those young men that is mentioned, is that their alternative religious books were taken from them, and they tried to stop them and all that stuff, um and the church weren't really interested in helping them when that was approached like that. It isn't the churches that will save us, but our direct culpability and spiritual relationships. And that too, like my point with Bob Larson, is it's not that, oh, perhaps Bob Larson, because of the faith in him or whatever, has more authority. It's not going to work unless that's accepted. The people that have let themselves roll on the floor or grunt and all that stuff, it's because they've given permission to it, that they've decided to involve that in their spiritual relationship. Satan and the other demons can offer love and spiritual gifts too. Drug use and dark clothes needs distinguished from Satanism. Now, one point that the guy does make, he was on death row back then, so he's probably dead. But one of the points that needs to be made with him is that he's totally right in believing one thing that if he's told is that, oh, the people's like, oh, I'm just beneficial and all this stuff. And witchcraft is Satanism. So why not just be straight up honest and rather than be pretending to be some sort of white witch, right? It sounds like the same types of experiences and promises are made by Christianity and Satanism. And that's the crux of the matter, isn't it? Is that people are trying to treat like, oh, it can't. Of course, one of the points that shows like that are going to make is that only by being a devout Christian or whatever, only by directly, calling on Jesus or something like that, will you ever, or the Holy Ghost, or however they're going to explain this thing, um, they will act like that is the only way that these things can be dealt with. Now, I would say that when switching things, you need to find the beliefs and practices in those areas, and then, and one of the things that's turning people to Satanism is the that people will be disciplined and scholarly in the rebellion. So they will have those abilities that they didn't as a submissive, obedient individual to the conservative system or even to the liberal system, because rebelling without a cause is not quite the thing either. Just, letting go of ethics and morals. It's like, well, what direction is that going, right? So it's not about just being a liberal either. And you got to be wise about that too. But what happens is something is lacking from whatever socioeconomic position, because it's not some elite Hollywood thing. I don't know if we're going to get into straight up Hollywood documentaries, but nor is it, oh, the person was so poor that what choice did they have?